Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video, but we're going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog creator Yuji Naka arrested on charges of insider trading. So kind of like Martha Stewart. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about this. It's so weird. I saw this the other day, and I was like, we'll see what happens. I'll keep an eye on it and see if the story blows up. And yeah, it's in like every major financial magazine now. It's in Fortune. I think it was on Forbes too. That all the news about Sonic the Hedgehog isn't about Sonic Frontiers, which is actually supposed to be pretty good, but it's about insider trading on the part of Yuji Naka, who is, I believe a very talented game designer, game developer, longtime staple of Sega, but also a very difficult man from everything I have heard from multiple people. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 281,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. It's greatly appreciated. If you go out to clownfishtv.com, you can find a lot more video game news on clownfishtv.com. We've got multiple contributors out there. We're really trying to build up this website, but a lot of focus on Japanese and retro video games. Lots of stories out there, articles you can read, and yeah. So let's talk about this. Coming from Fortune. Co-creator of Sonic the Hedgehog arrested on charges of insider trading. Yuji Naka, well, there we go. I don't want the pop-up. Yuji Naka, the co-creator of the popular Sonic franchise, has been arrested in Tokyo on charges of insider trading. Naka was taken into custody on Friday by the Tokyo District Public Prosecutor's Office. He's accused of buying 10,000 shares in a game developer called Aiming Inc. prior to an announcement that the company would be developing Dragon Quest Tact, a mobile version of Dragon Quest. Authorities say he did so knowing the announcement was forthcoming, hence the insider trading thing. Two other former employees of Square Enix, where Naka worked until recently, were also arrested on insider trading charges. While Sonic is a Sega property, Naka is attached to a musical game called Balan Wonderworld at Square Enix. We're going to talk about that one because that has been a sticking point for Yuji Naka. That title was a flop, however, and Naka left the company in mid-2021, hinting to fans that he might retire. He later sued Square Enix over the game, saying he was removed from its development 6 months before its completion. The trial is over, but the results are unclear. Sonic has been an icon in the video game world for 30 years with more than $5 billion in sales. And finally, thank God, a couple of decent video game movies. He was an early mascot for Sega during the company's battle with Nintendo and has since grown into a larger franchise with stuffed dolls, a balloon in the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade, 2 hit films, and a legion of furries who are interested in his feet. No, it didn't say that. The success of those movies surprised some, considering how visceral the reaction was to the first trailer. Fans and Naka said the CGI version of Sonic was too humanoid. The film's creators agreed, delayed the movie to overhaul the character's design. Yeah, which was a good move. It was a good move. So this sucks. I mean, come on. But Yuji Naka, look, he has been in the news multiple times. He's basically a grumpier, angrier, I hate to say it, less talented Miyamoto. And he is kind of the figurehead for Sega, or was the figurehead for Sega for a long time. And he's not very pleasant from what I've heard, which is really unfortunate because he's made some damn fine games, including Knights, and I believe he was part of the team that did the original 2 Phantasy Star games. But yeah, he's had some issues. I mean, this is like 5 years ago. Peter Moore recalls the last straw that convinced him to leave Sega. He told Yuji Naka to fuck off. And he shows him some data to indicate that Sega is on the decline with the youngins. The youngins weren't into Sega. He said, "This is ridiculous. You have made them say this. Sega is the great brand. Nobody would ever say this. You have falsified." He gets in my face. I said to the translator, "Tell him to fuck off." And the poor guy looks at me and says, "There's no expression in Japanese." I said, "I know there is." And that was it. That was the last time I ever set foot in there. I remember Yuji Naka making news earlier in the year for basically giving the Yahtzee treatment to one of his co-workers on Balan Wonderworld. Naka launched another attack on Square Enix after he removed his former colleague from a photo. Yeah, he totally took him out of this picture. You know, this is the Happy Birthday Knights. 26 years ago, Knights was announced at the Sega Saturn software presentation. Bomberman and Enemy Zero were announced together. Recently been flying FPV in the sky with a drone like Knights, and yeah, he cut out Oshima. He said a number of Naka's Twitter followers pointed out Oshima's removal from the photo, causing Naka to later explain his actions in a series of tweets. Explain yourself. Explain yourself on Twitter. How would you feel if you were suddenly removed from a game that you had worked on very hard over 2 years, and when you went to court, you found out that they had been talking about me behind my back in court documents, and that's why I was removed from the game? Game creators create games with care for the people who play them. Don't you think that the people and companies that cannot take care of games are no good? Instead of talking behind my back, don't you think you should tell them directly before removing them? I mean, he's not wrong, but yeah, so he's had a lot of controversy lately, and unfortunately, not a lot of it has been good. Again, very unfortunate. He's worked on some games that I have enjoyed immensely over the decades, but insider trading, man, is some pretty serious stuff. Maybe he figured he would get some of that Balan Wonderworld money back, or the imaginary money, because it didn't sell very well, did it? All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.